What up? What up? What up? It's Ibn Webb, Ib Webb, Karana Sum here. Official Thanks thing I got going on here. Essex County All Day Edition. When I decided to do these Essex County things here, wanted to make sure I hit up my old high school here. A lot of great people walk through those halls, you know, administration, what have you there, these athletes, male, female, what have you here. This gentleman, Phil Hunt, a couple of years behind me, just proud of him, the man that he's becoming, what he's doing and what he has done here. So I'm excited to just have Phil on. We connect, touch base, what have you here. So let me just be quiet on that end and let me get Phil on. Hold tight. What's up? What's up? There we go. There we go. Look at you. I like that number in the back.
Hey man, you know.
Okay. Absolutely. Absolutely. Look at you. You calm down. I mean, jersey in the back, t-shirt on, everything, man. Good stuff. Good stuff, man. How you doing?
Good, man. I'm good. The basement's covered in some UConn stuff right now.
Okay. I mean, wish they had a better season we got going on here, but it's all good. They'll turn it around. I mean, they'll get it right. They'll get it right.
They will, man. Coach Mora, I like what he's doing. It's going to take time. You know what it's like, man. You got to rebuild the program. You know, the where it starts, as you know, is that the kids got to believe in something. They got to believe in one another, and they got to have trust and faith in their coaches. Mm-hmm. You know, and then that creates a strong foundation. And once you have that, you can do some things with that. And because we have the talent, right? We have the talent.
Yes.
So, you know, I'm as I told you, we headed up there this weekend. Hopefully they upset BC. I can't stand Boston College. No offense to any of our peeps that, went there, but I can't stand Boston College.
Yeah. Nah, interesting. How you think? You think this is just a pit stop for Coach Moore here?
I don't know. You got a guy who's, he's coached at a really high level.
Right.
At the NFL, FBS, he's won, right? I think this is for him. I think this is about legacy. Mm-hmm. Coming in and building something from scratch. Mm-hmm. And I can't even say it's really building from scratch. He's rebuilding. Mm-hmm. Because this all started with Holtz in my class that was recruited. We were that first, Division 1A class. Mm-hmm. We were supposed to have gone Big East by my junior year. We just couldn't get the stadium passed.
Yes.
We're a game away from a AA championship in 98 when Georgia Southern won. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, not Georgia Southern, UMass won. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah, I think it was Whipple. He was
Whipple. Yeah. And we beat UMass twice that year. Twice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How do you play somebody twice?
Oh, because that's when BU folded.
Okay.
BU got rid of their football team.
Okay.
So that's when Sean Red when Sean Red was there. Mm-hmm. He wound up transferring out. Mm-hmm. So we had to play UMass twice.
So I didn't even know they played them twice in one season.
And beat them both times.
Yeah.
Go to Georgia Southern. Our coach switches up everything. Mm-hmm. We had one of the top rated defenses in the country that year. Mm-hmm. He's taking advice from, I think it was his dad at the time, to switch up our defense. We got safeties playing outside linebackers, corners playing safeties, outside linebackers playing D. And so guys are out of position, mm-hmm. right? Because we were worried about, who was the back they had? Peterson, I think. And, he went to the league. And so they were worried about stopping him. So we switched up our whole thing, man. And we couldn't get any traction on defense. They just ran all over us and we lost. So, but they wound up playing UMass. UMass beat them.
Okay. But before we talk even more about this UConn stuff, man, just want to ask, family, everybody good, man? Wife, the kids, man. I know them young ones got you going, but everybody good, healthy, doing all right?
Yeah, man. Everybody's good. The wife, she's great, man, holding it down. We just in this past July, we just celebrated our 7th wedding anniversary.
Congrats. Yeah.
she and I met back in DC. We moved around a little bit together from DC to San Diego, where our son was born. Rapid City, South Dakota, now in Fargo, North Dakota, man.
Yeah.
You never would have convinced me otherwise that this is where I'd be if, back at IC, up on 33 Cottage Place, somebody's like, hey, man, you can be 45 years old living in the burbs of West Fargo, North Dakota, and loving it. You're crazy.
And to your point, crazy where life takes you, man. It's a journey, you know what I mean? You just take it where it goes, man. So that you get to see the world, you see the states, man. So definitely positives in that.
Yeah, so we're blessed, man. Little boy, Phil Jr., he's 5.5 years old. We just welcomed a little girl this past April, Hayden.
Good stuff.
She's amazing, man. Girls hit you different. Love my son, but girls hit you different.
I understand. I got the one and it's a girl, so I totally understand. Man. With Florida, North Dakota, the San Diegos, the South Dakotas, and DCs, man, like everything started from you in Jersey, or you just ended up in Jersey as far as growing up?
Everything started in Jersey, man. My entire family's from that way. It's funny because, I know all you EO cats, that's where my family's from. We got East Orange and we got Vailsburg, and my dad's family, they're the ones that were in Orange.
Okay.
So, when my mom and my dad got together, that's, moved us to Orange, and went to Lincoln Ave Elementary, right? And then it came time for junior high, and went to the Immaculate Junior High.
Okay.
And I remember Coach Finn came to my 8th grade class, and he showed a video. I think it was like a highlight reel of Immaculate, and then he was talking about he had some Penn State Notre Dame reels on there.
Oh, he probably had to slip into Notre Dame.
Yeah. And I remember watching that, going, I'm going to college and playing football, man.
Okay.
Like, I'm going to D1. I'm playing football. I was like, I knew that at that point. I didn't know where I was going to go to high school yet. Immaculate had caught my interest. I think I was looking at, what was I looking at? I was looking at MKA.
Really? Okay.
I was looking at Essex Catholic.
Because I know you got to take that little test or something for like the parochials around the way.
Yep. And then I was looking at Immaculate.
MKA. Wow. Okay. Yeah.
And MKA, man, it was a funny feeling. I think there was something, my mom didn't like something the guidance counselor said, and that was like the end of that. And then Essex Catholic, my cousin Ian went there, and he wanted me to go there real bad, but there was something about going to all boys school that I was like, nah, man.
Yeah.
And St. Benedict's.
And Benedict's too. Okay.
Yep, and St. Benedict's. But I was like, I'm feeling Immaculate. My boy D'Anthony was going. Remember D'Anthony? And wound up going there and running into Flay and Flay and I. A lot of people don't know this, but Flay and I have known each other since we were 6 years old, man.
Really?
Yeah, at the Y and down on Main Street in Orange.
I probably knew this, but I'm acting like I don't know. I grew up in Orange, so both y'all grew up in Orange. Fleance too. He grew up in Orange.
Fleance was in EO, but he went to the Y in Orange, and that's where we met. We met there.
Okay.
I thought you were East Orange cat.
Nah. I'm Orange, and I grew up in Orange, crosstown.
All right.
Yeah. So now you get to Immaculate, so it's interesting. Obviously, probably a good chunk of those from the elementary school probably went over there with you. So you get there. Obviously, it's high school and everything else. So you already had set in your mind, like, where this destination going to take you. That way you had your mind set ultimately.
Man, it was school and sports.
Yeah.
That's it.
As a kid growing up, before we even talk about like some of the stuff at Immaculate, did you play anything organized growing up as a kid?
And I learned how to play everything on the street.
Yeah.
there was no, or I was playing with kids that were all older than me. I had 2 younger uncles, one 6 months older than me, the other one's 2 years older than me. And, they were like brothers. So that was down in Vailsburg, and we played ball either in the street
Right. Yeah.
Or we were at the park, playing football, running around. We used to box in the day too, man. So
boxing was huge.
I wanted to go into boxing, and my mom was like, "Man," she was like, "You're not doing that." I was like, "Yeah, but I'm good. I'm winning the street tournaments and all."
Yeah.
And she's like, "No, you're not doing that." I said, "But I think I can win some money." She's like, "You won't be able to count it, son."
Yeah. We come a time you might not be able to count it. Somebody got counted for you. You know how that go. They're gonna take a couple of dollars off the top for themselves. So,
but football, man, football was my love from day one.
Really.
And I ran. I tried all the sports there. My freshman year, I did baseball. They stuck me in the outfield, and I just got bored.
Yeah,
because I enjoyed playing baseball too. We played that all the time in summer camp, and I loved playing baseball.
Yeah,
but they stuck me in the outfield, and I was like, man, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
And then played basketball. I wasn't a big kid in high school, as you know, especially not my freshman year, and had no jump shot, so that wasn't gonna work.
It
wasn't gonna work. And then come sophomore year, Coach Finn, he's in my ear talking about, you need to run track, come out for indoor track. And so I did that, and I enjoyed it. And then he tried to get me to run outdoor, and it was Mr. Dyer. And my first practice, sophomore year outdoor track, they made me run with Brent. Remember Brent, right?
Brent Andrews.
Yeah. This dude was like a miler.
Yeah.
I don't remember what that park was. That was way, way out. But it was like 5 or 6 miles. I'm like, dude, how you gonna make me run 5 or 6 miles my first track practice? And I was like, nah, I'm not doing that. If that's what this is about, I'm not doing that. And then,
now, did you really run, or did you probably walking here and there? I'm sure.
I had to.
Yeah.
There's no keeping up with Brent, man. That dude, it's like following a cheetah, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. But so fast forward, I enjoyed indoor track season. And then my cousin Ian, I don't know if you remember him or not, but he was a big influence in my life. I owe a lot to him for helping me navigate this whole college thing. And he was like, listen, man, he's like, track is really going to help you for football.
Yeah.
Like, so you need to go out there and do that. And I'm like, man, all that long distance running. I said, this body was made for speed, man.
Yeah.
And so he's like, just talk to your coach. So I talked to Coach Dyer, and I said, listen, I want to do this. I said, but don't be putting me in nothing over 400. He was like, all right, let's do it. And then, so I had success my sophomore year in indoor. Okay. Come my junior year in indoor, I'm winning a lot. I'm coming, if I'm placing every meet. So I get excited. I'm getting really excited about track. Run outdoor. Junior year, man, I'm placing.
Yeah.
And then come senior year, shoot, man, won states in the 110s and came in second in the intermediates. And get to meet the champions. And then my senior year for football, while we didn't win the championship in football, I like to think that we kind of helped set the tone for Gil and them, give them a little taste of what that's like. Even though Flay, Pierre, and I will never forgive Coach Finn for making us play in that friggin' weather.
Yeah, no. Before we talk about that, with the track stuff though, real quick, I mean, obviously there's a long history at Immaculate with track and success. So obviously you just add into that, just like even just being around in the meet of champions, man, how was that just in that atmosphere? I know just if you could remember, I mean, I'm sure it had to be exciting.
What's funny about that, so I actually declined going to the meet of champions.
Really?
Yeah, because by that time I had already had my offer from UConn.
Okay.
And they wanted me to get up there like right away.
Okay.
And so I knew I wasn't gonna run track, and I just said, well, I can go, but I don't want to go up there, mess around, get hurt. It would have been nice. I think in hindsight, I should have done it. I should have gone, for that experience. But I was so focused to start that next chapter and so eager to do it that I kind of just started looking forward and not looking back at that point.
Yeah, nah. You know, it's crazy. That's like early on, you making business decisions, don't even know it.
Well, that's just it, you know.
Yeah.
But like I said, from day one, when I got to Immaculate, I knew this is my goal.
Yes. Yes.
Right. And then I started to realize, oh, football and track, this is like my thing. And even though I did track to complement football, you know, like I said, I started placing. I was top 3 in something.
Yes.
And so, you know, Coach Dyer, and I remember this, man, we're talking. And he's like, you're going to get an offer either in football or track. He's like, don't be surprised if you get one for both. You know, and I, you know, I know how we all used to clown on Mr. Dyer, but there was a point in time where Mr. Dyer, he sat me down, and I don't know if you remember this, but I think it was sophomore year too. For whatever reason, I was like on the bench every other week for something stupid. You know, and you know how it is. We had some guys who wanted to be tough guys,
right,
wanted to be thugs, and you know me, I was just a happy-go-lucky kid. I was, you know, in my own world, and we had some guys that just wanted to try to test you. And while I never started fights, I never backed down from them either.
Right.
And so I always was the one that got caught.
Yeah.
So Mr. Dyer, he sat me down, and you know, he walks around, he gives you that look like this, right? Just looking at you. And he's like, what's going on? He's like, you've been on this bench now 3 times this month. He goes, and that's not you. And I told him, I said, look, I said, you know, I said, I was raised at it, you know, don't start fights, but don't let somebody try to punk you either.
That's right.
You know, and I told him, I said, you know, I have every right to defend myself, you know, and I feel like that's what I need to do in certain situations. And I also think too, man, because, you know, I lived in Reynolds Terrace, right? While that part of Orange, you know, was nice because it was right around the corner, not that far from, like, it was up the street from Orange Park, and then up the street from the high school and Central Park. So it was in that good spot, 2 or 3 blocks from Seven Oaks.
Yes.
Right. So that was a good part of Orange. But taking the bus, where do we have to walk past? We had to walk past the projects every time.
Right.
Or from that area. Right. And, you know, there were guys that would see you in your uniform and they try to start stuff with you. And there were times where, you know, because of football, I'm coming home late at night by myself. And you know, I would have something with me, not a gun or anything like that, but I had something. And one time I left it at school. It was like a pocket knife or something. I left it at school. And Mr. Misha, that's his name, right?
The custodian.
Yeah, he found it and ratted me out big time. And so I had to explain myself of why I had it. And I said, listen, man, I said, you know, I was like, I don't live in a rough neighborhood, but I gotta go through rough neighborhoods, and I'm often by myself.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like I gotta defend myself. And Mr. Dyer was like, listen, I can appreciate that. And he goes, but there's gonna come a point in your life where some things you just gotta let go and look past and be the bigger person. And he says, you know, Phil, you're gonna go to school, you're gonna go to college on a football or track scholarship. He says, what you gonna do when some frat boy, you're at a party and some frat boy is popping off to you and wants to test you? Now, he clearly didn't say popping off, but you get my
right,
drift,
right.
And he says, you know, you might be in the right and you hit him and you win that fight, but guess whose name's gonna be in the paper the next day? And he's like, it's not gonna be that kid, that frat boy. He's like, it's gonna be you. He's like, and that frat boy, unlike you, his parents probably can pay for him to go to school. And I was like, damn. I was like, you're right. He's like, so you have to think, once again, making a business decision. You got to think about what's the end game here. and take the higher road. And from then, man, I was like, I thought I was focused, but then I was just laser focused. Man.
Yeah.
I was laser focused at that point.
And to even what you're just sharing here and thinking about being at Immaculate, just how small it was, and people gonna find out everything in a heartbeat. You know what I mean? As far as whatever goes down was said, and like you just mentioned the situation with Mr. Misha, finding whatever you had with you, and next thing you know, Dyer's in your ear, Mr. Dyer's in your ear, what have you. So, but it was always the community as far as it mattered. Everybody looked out for each other, but and when they saw things, because you wasn't the first person to come through there and have situations. So, what I mean? So it was always one of those things here, whether it's the Mr. Dyers, the Coach Finns, everybody else here, they've seen it before. And obviously for, to say all that stuff too, they know they saw something in you, and they knew what time it was ultimately once you got laser focused, as you were just stating. You know what I mean? You got locked in, and and you went on, you went.
And I had good role models, man. Guys like you, guys like Hammy Hughes, Glenn Allen, Jabari Sturdivant. I mean, you guys, you always mess with me, but it was that brotherly love, man, that I always appreciated.
Yeah.
And y'all always pushed me to be better, and I always looked up to you guys, man. Always looked up to you guys. I respected y'all as young men. I respected y'all, what y'all were doing day to day. Y'all were just always trying to do the right thing. Knuckleheads at times, but we all were.
Yeah. I covered all my bullshit up that a lot of people didn't see. It was lots of things going on that you might not have been aware of, but you know what I mean? So
you guys did your thing, man, when it came to sports, man. Y'all did your thing. Y'all worked hard, y'all were focused, and I was like, that's what I want to be. That's what I want to be like, man.
Yeah.
So, I was just trying to follow in the big footsteps that y'all left.
Yeah, and that you did, man. As far as just the playing wise, now when you got to Immaculate, was it was just freshman and JV you were playing initially as far as football?
Yeah, so let me think. Damn, my freshman year, it was just freshman.
Okay.
And then my sophomore year, I was playing freshman and JV. And then my junior year, it was just varsity at that.
Okay.
At that point.
Now you was ready to go. I mean, again, so you playing in the backfield. Are you going both ways at this time? That's pretty much starting and getting playing time.
I was going both ways. I didn't get a lot of burn at tailback because I was behind Kev Gibbs. But defense, I was starting on defense by my junior year.
Yeah. Now, how fun was it, man, just to play high school football when we're looking back on it, man? So you did, obviously, the conferences, what is it, more county teams, Essex County teams, the small schools, but competitive as far as just, you probably went crazy, with the wing tee and seeing it and running it. But how fun was it, though, just playing?
I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it. I felt like I was in my element. I could just lose myself in the game of football. You probably know, man. You get in that zone, you just lose yourself.
Yeah.
And everything else melts away. Time slows down. And I tell you what, my sophomore year was probably the best for me because I got to play 2 games a week.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Right. And I loved it. And I'd always play my butt off. But even when the games was over, like I never got tired, man. Because I was just such in my element that I just loved it so much. And frankly, everybody's got dreams of being like the next Walter Payton, right? So there were times where I got a little upset when I wasn't getting a lot of burn at tailback. But I accepted that and said, okay, well, let me make the best of the opportunity I do have, which is on defense. And frankly, I liked it better. I loved hitting people.
Yeah.
I loved hitting people. I loved, sacking quarterbacks. I loved it, man. Like I loved it.
Yeah.
And so I just embraced that and just went with it.
Yeah. Now you get to this last year again. you already got this destination from, early on, like what you wanted to do here. So just thinking about if you just go back to like that last year, going into that last year, like, hey, like, what I need to do to just lock up, some college offers and, take this load off my family here, man. Like, will you recall what you was just thinking going into that year? You mentioned playing time as far as tailback, but you was playing defense. Team wise, obviously you were young, but you was a senior, you was the leader on the team, man. Like, how was it for you?
It was interesting because we had a small. By the time my senior year rolled around, the number of males we had in my class had dwindled substantially.
Yeah.
Right. And so if I think about my senior year, I mean, all that was left was me, Pierre, Cesare, Avalon.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even think Steve Lauderhan was playing at that time.
Okay.
So it was like 3 of us. And the rest was juniors and sophomores.
Okay.
So you had Gil, you had Reggie, right? You had my man Harold Holmes. Then behind them you had Sean Red and Troy Austin, and the other Sean. So and Omar Cheeseborough. Like, so I'm looking around saying to myself, and I said this to Flay and Pierre, I was like, look, and Ches was like, yo, we gotta go. Like, we got an opportunity.
Yeah.
I remember when you were a senior and like there was a chance for the playoffs and got robbed out of going to the playoffs. I was like, man, we gotta go.
Yeah.
Like, I want that for Immaculate.
Yeah.
I want that to be a part of the legacy. And we had our challenges, but we figured out we scrapped every game. We scrapped every game, and we had the talent. They were just young. So it was just about trying to instill in them, that hard work and that grit, because the talent was there. We didn't have to worry about that. It was, hey man, look, let's not give up on plays. Let's keep pushing until the final whistle, kind of thing. And as the season went on, we started to gel and find ourselves, and we got into a good rhythm, and Reg was doing this thing in the backfield with the new offense. I accepted my role at tailback, but really it was about defense.
Okay.
I remember one article was like, look, Reggie, they got 2 great players, one at tailback, one at fullback, and one at outside linebacker.
Yeah.
Right? And it was like, yo, you do your thing, Reg, I'll help you on offense, and then on defense, I got this. I got you. And that was just our mentality. And we just let it go. We let it go. So you fast forward, we get an opportunity to go to the playoffs.
Yeah, you break through. Yeah.
I think that first playoff game down there, what was that? Damn, I can't remember. I know the championship game was St. Joe's, right? But I can't remember. They were a blue team, but shoot, man, I went off. I think in that game I had like 2 sacks,
an
interception, a pass breakup, and a bunch of tackles. And I was like, let's do this.
That's right.
So we get an opportunity to play in the championship, and I'm excited. But
as you should be, yeah.
I'm excited. I'm like, yo, this is everything that we worked for, and it was good to see, Pierre was getting, you seen guys getting accolades, all conference, all state, and so you got me and Pierre, we're like first and second team, all state, first team, all conference as seniors. And we're like, yo, we're gonna do this thing. So we're excited about this game. And then we go out there, and I think everybody just wanted to play.
Yes.
Like, that was the first time we had made the playoff in like a decade. Right. So I get it. Coach Finn was eager to play. Eager to play. But the weather, man, we should not have been playing that game, dog. I remember halftime. I think the score was like 3-6. And we go in the locker room and we come out and it starts downpouring again. And I'm looking in the huddle of the guys, man. And some of those young guys, you could tell they were like, yo, I just want to go home.
Yeah.
You know, and, you know, my heart broke a little bit, but I was like, look, guys, I was like, y'all just keep playing. And let's just, once again, let's just push through this, you know? And, you know, we had the weather, they had the weather too. And things the things didn't go our way that day. And I remember at the end of the game being disappointed, but being proud of the opportunity and thankful for the opportunity that was presented to me from Immaculate, from the coaches, Coach Taylor, Coach Finn, Coach Mal, Coach Joe. Like, I love those guys. And then all the younger players with Gil and Reggie and Omar, like, because without them, we wouldn't have made it there. So while I was disappointed, I was still thankful for the opportunity to have that experience with them. And, you know, that next year, and the next 2 years, I would say, when they kept winning back to back, I was ecstatic for them, man.
Yeah,
I was ecstatic.
Definitely.
You know, there was a sense of pride. People were like, aren't you mad? That could have been y'all. I'm like, yeah, but it wasn't.
Right.
And it's like, I feel like even though I wasn't on the field with them, I had a part of that.
Yeah.
And I was so happy for them, man, because all those guys, the level of love and determination that we know that those coaches put in for us, right? We didn't have the best facilities, right? We didn't have all the best equipment, but we made it happen. Great experiences for young men. And that's, you know, I'm forever grateful for that experience, for that football experience, for that educational experience. And that's actually part of the reason why once I was done playing in college, I decided to stay in higher education. You know, and I got into collegiate athletics because of what collegiate or what athletics had done for me in my life. And the opportunities that it gave to me. I wanted to now have an opportunity to pay that back. And so fast forward.
Wait, hold on before we fast forward. Just with that game, I hear it was like a monsoon. I mean, and pretty much all the other teams played the day before. Was able to play for some reason, I think Coach Finn mentioned it was something about they couldn't get the field. It was a situation where they couldn't get the field the day before, what have you. So therefore, Thusha had to play. But I heard it was just a monsoon.
Man, I mean,
people taking showers, hyperventilating, all kind of things going on.
People was shivering, man. It was soaked to the bone. I mean, puddles of water on the field.
Yeah,
you could barely keep your eyes open because it was sleet, but it was like the real hard sleet where it was snowing, sleeting sideways, and it hit your eyeballs and it would sting. It was bad, man.
Like, I gotta ask though, at least y'all probably took a charter bus down. Y'all didn't take that white bus, right?
No, we took a charter.
I'm messing with you. I'm pretty sure y'all did. Yeah.
But that, I tell you what though, that was the quietest bus ride
in the
history of bus rides.
Yeah.
You know.
And then so you got some decisions to make, man, as far as obviously the season ends. I mean, you have indoor track, but in the same breath, you know, obviously you got these recruiters, you know, coming by the high school, you know, checking some tape out and everything else here, man. Ultimately, I know you end up at UConn. Was there any other places you were considering?
Yeah. So let me think. It was UConn, it was Vanderbilt, it was West Virginia, Delaware, Sacred Heart, St. John's, and Seton Hall for track.
Okay.
But, you know, like I said, football is my first love, man. So I wasn't, you know, and I was getting to Montclair States and all that, but I was like, man, I'm trying to go D1, right? So my sights were focused on at the time, it was West Virginia.
Okay. You took a visit down there too?
I took a visit down there. I had been at their camp the year before. Coaches had taken an interest. And, you know, by the time it came down to it, so signing day, they were offering like a partial.
Okay.
So I was like, all right. Vanderbilt, I was kind of backing off because I was like, man, yeah, they're SEC, but I'm not trying. I mean, they were like 1-10, 0-11 every year.
Yeah.
You know, and I know how I felt losing that championship game. I was like, I'm not trying to do that every weekend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, in Delaware, I was like, you know, they're winning
That was a double A, right?
Yep, yeah. And UConn was a double A team. And I was like, all right. I said, I'm gonna roll the dice with West Virginia. You know, I can go there. I know I'm good enough to wind up earning a full scholarship.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't remember when it was exactly, but I remember I was watching TV one night, chilling with my family, and my phone just started blowing up at the house. Turn on ESPN, turn on ESPN. I was like, okay, there's like Skip Holtz is going to UConn. He's going to be the head coach at UConn. Mm-hmm. And I was a big Notre Dame fan. And I'm like, what? Mm-hmm. I was like, are y'all serious? And so, you know, I had some UConn coaches were calling me before, but my cousin called me, Coach Finn called me. I had some other people call me, and they were like, listen, man, if Holtz is going to Connecticut, they trying to do something with this football team, and they're going to turn that program around.
Okay.
And you need to think about, this might give you an opportunity to play early. And I was like, ooh, okay. Because they were already on the hook for a full. They were talking to me, but I was just kind of like, nah. So fast forward, all the new UConn coaches start coming.
Okay.
To visit. And he came down, he's like, yeah, you know, we're interested in you. Here's what's going on with Coach Holtz. We're going to be Big East by your junior year. Here's what our schedules are starting to look like. Here what our plans are. And I was like, okay, all right. I take my visit, you know, I'm nervous, you know, and you know, we got coaches that were All-Americans. We got coaches that played in the NFL, you know, coached All-Americans. I'm like, yo, this is gonna be something. And I sit in the room with Coach Holtz, and he's like, listen, Phil, he goes, we're really trying to build something here and build a defense around guys with some speed, athleticism, and some range. And, you know, you're the kind of guy that we would love to have out here and play on our defense. And he was like, he's like, I want you to play safety. I'm looking at you and one other kid. He's like, you guys will be our foundation. He's like, you're the first one I'm offering. I was like, damn. I was like, okay. You know, I was just kind of like, oh. I was like, I said, Coach, I said, you know, I said, I respect you as a coach. I grew up watching you coach with your dad. And I said, everything that you're telling me about building a program, leaving a legacy, starting a foundation, I said, I'm in. I'm in.
So right on the spot during the visit, you pretty much committed. At least orally, you told him you come.
Yeah, during the visit, I orally committed. He was like, "Are you sure?" He's like, "Because, you know," he's like, "Because once again, he's like, if it's not you, then you know, I got to go other places." I was like, "I'm in." He's like, "Great." He's like, "Great," because they had cats from Florida. You know, I'm hearing these guys from Florida and what they talking and what they accomplished and this and that. I was like, wow. I was like, we got some athletes coming. So yeah, man, it was a great experience. And I remember sitting in while we were waiting, we were having dinner, and it was before I got to speak to Coach Holtz. And Warren Kogel, he was an All-American from Penn State. Wound up playing in the league. I can't remember what team he played for, but he wound up being an athletic director, a college AD after coaching at UConn. Okay. And I respected the guy. And I came by. He said, "You okay?" I said, "Yeah, I'm just a little nervous, Coach." I was like, "I normally don't get nervous, but I'm a little nervous." He says, "Why are you nervous?" I said, "Because I want this."
Yeah.
And he looked at me and he smiled, put his gigantic hand on my shoulder. And he goes, "Phil, you got nothing to worry about." He goes, "We would love to have you." And so that kind of calmed me down. Yeah. And, you know, and then that's where it started, you know.
Let me ask though, how was your family, man, when you just kind of broke the news? You go in there, all them immaculate tuitions and elementary school and high school tuitions, man. How was it for you, man, just to be like, you know what? This one's on me here. All the hard work you guys put in. These next few years is on me. Just that feeling alone, just kind of just sharing that with them.
Damn, man, you might make me get a little emotional up in here. I didn't think it was gonna be like that.
Oh man, cut it out.
But it was a tremendous sense of relief because I knew, damn, man, I knew that my folks had split, right? Mm-hmm. My parents had, a lot of people don't know this, but my parents had me when they were 16 years old, dog. Mm-hmm. My mom, y'all got to see my mom when she was really making money at that point. But before that, man, we was on food stamps, welfare, WIC, all that. Like my brother and sister, they grew up different. Okay. They don't know when we were poor, right? Mm-hmm. And my mom, she always worked. So my senior year, she, I think she only missed like 1 or 2 games. Yeah. Right. And I remember, coming through my freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, and seeing all the other parents there and kind of, feeling a little sad about it. But that's because my mom always had to work. Mm-hmm. Right. She was the breadwinner, mm-hmm. taking care of me and my brother. And so when the opportunity came, so that was another reason why I was so focused, right? I was like, I got to better the situation. Yes. And I couldn't put that burden on my family. Mm-hmm. And so when the opportunity came, it was just such a relief, man.
I'm sure.
Like the weight just kind of fell away. And I said to my mom, I was like, you don't have to worry about me now. Like you can focus on them. You can focus on my brother and sister. Mm-hmm. You don't have to worry about me now. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. And so it was one of those things, man, where it was just like, it was wild, man. It was wild. It was bittersweet, because that was all I knew. All I knew was Orange. All I knew was Montclair. All I knew was Immaculate. Mm-hmm. All I knew was my family and my friends. But I was so eager and excited for this new opportunity. Mm-hmm. It was like I worked so hard for so many years to get to that point. Like it came to realization. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yo, if and I used to tell other cast this, I was like, yo, if I could do this, you could do this too. Mm-hmm. You just have to make a plan and commit yourself to something. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. And be so focused on it that nothing else can distract you. Like, yeah, I used to flirt with girls, but I wasn't chasing girls like that in high school. Mm-hmm. I wasn't getting in trouble like that in high school. I wasn't partying in high school. I wasn't, I went to a school dance here and there, but I wasn't doing all that. Yeah. It was grades and whatever. I remember one year I was getting all these accolades for sports and for academics. And somebody screamed out, like, we had those assemblies and they call your name, give you an award for something. Mm-hmm. And I think my name got called for like a few different things. And somebody was like, somebody said, oh, you effing nerd or something like that. And I turned around and I was like, look, man, I was like, being whatever you call me, whatever they call me, I said, and that's what that is. And it equates to this and me having, going to school on a football scholarship and then having a great job for the rest of my life. Yeah. Call me whatever the hell you want.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Nah, you're absolutely right. I mean, and that's tough. I mean, for you to even, think that back then, because you just think of all the pressures and everybody else to fit in and be cool. But like I said, there was something in you just to be, locked in and wanting to achieve all of this. And even with that said, you talk about Orange 07050.
Yeah.
And then you make your way to Stores, Connecticut, night and day.
Dude. It was crazy. The transition happened so fast and was so crazy because I go up on my visit. People knew who I was that I never even met.
Yeah.
They knew everything about me. I'm not just talking coaches.
And this is without the internet.
This was without the internet, dude.
Yeah.
Right. You know, other students, girls, oh yeah, you're that Phil Hunt kid. And that's when people first started calling me Phil like that too.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, huh. Oh yeah, you went to you from Orange, you went to Montclair Immaculate. Yeah. And they rattling off stuff. I'm like, how do y'all know this?
Mm-hmm.
But that's kind of that was the start of it.
Yeah.
The start of it, you know. Met some people, met some other athletes up there, met some other guys from Jersey. They were down from Red Bank.
Mm-hmm.
And we just made the decision that, hey, we're gonna help, we're gonna build this program. I went to UConn, chose UConn too because of their academics.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, I thought I wanted to be a doctor and go to med school. I don't know what the hell I was thinking, but it was hard, man. It was a hard transition, you know. I remember I watched your piece with Gil, and he talked about how he struggled this first year.
Yeah,
I did too. You know, that's a hard transition. You know, you come out of a small school,
right?
You know, and once again, I was pretty disciplined, so it wasn't about that. It was trying to balance, you know, the practice, the workouts, 8 o'clock classes, right? Every day.
Right.
To, oh, you got study hall after practice, your head hurts, your body's sore, right? And now I gotta go practice, or now I gotta go study after that long ass practice. And once practice is over, you know, it ain't like you can go to the dorm now after practice over. No, you got like another hour and a half of film.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, I graduated with a nice GPA. I was New Jersey Scholar Athlete of the Year. You know, I got that award. So here I'm thinking, oh man, you know, because they're like, oh, Phil, you know, we can set you up with some easier classes. Ego is like, no, I don't need those. Give me anatomy, physiology. Give me chemistry.
Yeah.
I can do 15 credits my first semester. Dude, let me tell you something. I was on academic probation.
Yeah.
That first semester, because it was just such a hard transition. I remember calling my mom crying.
Yeah.
Like I messed up. I took on too much. You know, I'm trying to figure this out. Like this is hard. And she says, listen, she goes, talk to your coaches, talk to your athletic advisors, go seek tutoring. She's like, you got this. You know, you gotta just figure it out and kind of reorganize.
Yeah.
And so I got over my ego a little bit, right? And said, okay, maybe I should take at least one easy class. Maybe I should only, you know, do 12 credits. If that means I got to take a class during the summertime, then that's what I do. You know, and once I figured out how to study, once I figured out how to balance my schedule, things got better.
Good.
Things got a whole lot better.
Now you there, you go. But obviously they're making the transition to 1A. But as you know, you've heard this a million times, probably even back then, you're going to a basketball school. You got the men and the women pretty much about to reach their apex and kind of just really just continue to do what they've been doing here. So y'all were kind of like the little kids in the yard and compared to them. I mean, from the outside looking in.
Yeah, no, you're right. And you know what? We own that. You know, and we were like, look, we're not going to take away from anything that they've done, because there was a time where basketball wasn't good either.
That's right.
Right. But they built something. And so, you know, my senior year, my freshman year, Kevin Ollie, that's when he was a senior. I think Ray Allen was just a sophomore or junior at that time. You know, we were friends with all those guys.
Yeah.
You know, the Rebecca Lobos, the Nikki Sales, right? We were friends with all of them. And we would go to the games and we would cheer them on.
Yeah.
Right? And it was like, yeah, y'all do your thing and y'all represent UConn because we're all Huskies at the end of the day.
Right.
We're trying to build our own thing too. And they were supportive of us.
Mm-hmm.
We used to hear about there being beef between football and basketball before we got there. But all that, we were like, yo, we're all trying to build something.
Mm-hmm.
Something bigger than all of us. We had a great athletic director that instilled that in us.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of my mentors to this day.
Mm.
I owe that man a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you are football wise, you play right away, or how's the whole?
Yeah, so that was a disappointment, right? Because you get recruited, and they tell you that you're the guy, and they were like, "Hey, you have an opportunity to come in and start." And I'm looking at stats, and I'm sizing guys up.
Yeah.
And I go to a practice, and I'm like, "Oh man," I'm like, "All right." And then so I go to preseason. We go to preseason camp. In the summertime, I come in and I blow out the conditioning test, blow it out the water.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Guys are like leaning over, throwing up. And, I had some of the older guys be like, yo, man, you making me look bad. And you know how I rolled it, and I didn't give a shit if you was junior,
that's right.
Senior, I'm here.
That's right.
To do my thing, right? And I remember we were, they started, they keeping stats. They keeping a leaderboard for pass breakups, interceptions, and all that. And I'm looking at the leaderboard like, yo, I'm in the top 3. So, preseason's winding down, and I'm like, I got a shot.
Yeah.
I'm like, I got a shot. My coach comes in, and he goes, this dude, man, he was a Southern guy too. He's kind of a hefty dude. And he sits down and he says, Phil. That's how he called me. He called me Phil. Phil. He says, I told you, you my guy, you my freshman. He goes, but Phil, I gotta tell you, and I don't know how to say it any other way. You ain't gonna play. I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
I was like, the leaderboard's right there. He's like, I know. You ain't gotta show me. I know what it says. I'm like, this dude, man. And I'm heated. I'm hot. I'm hurt. I'm upset. And he goes, I know you're angry. I know you're upset. He says, but hear me out. We're saving you. We're saving you for the year after. We're going to redshirt you. He goes, we're going to redshirt all of y'all. And it did. They read, because he was like, we're looking for the future. He's like, you guys got talent. You guys got heart. You guys can work. But you're just not, like, we could put you out there, but you're still probably going to struggle a little bit. He's like, we want to save you. They started one dude, a D tackle from New York, who was a monster.
Yeah.
Everybody else got redshirted. So now, had it been a different story where, like, a bunch of other freshmen were playing, then I probably would have been more upset. But all but one got redshirted. And I'm thankful for that because of the trajectory. Like, and I think we sucked that year.
Now, you were still in the Yankee conference then, or
we were in a Yankee conference, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we were in the Yankee conference. And we did not play well that year. But then the year after, we started improving. I think we went like 7-4, 2 8-3s, and then my senior year, we wound up going to the playoffs and having the best record in UConn history, and the playoffs again, making the playoffs for the first time in a decade or 2 decades or something crazy like that, and a game away from what was a AA championship at the time. Yeah. And I'm captain of the football.
You're captain team. Yeah.
I'm captain of the team.
Yeah.
You know, the captain of the team. But there were, it wasn't all rainbows, man. I mean, it was challenging because I went through three different defensive coordinators, bro. 3 different defensive coordinators. I was fighting for a spot every year. I mean, that's college, right? That's how it goes. and I come up on top. And then my senior year, I'm captain. By the 5th game of the season, I'm not even playing, dog.
Like no explanation whatsoever.
No explanation. We brought in this new coach. We had a couple of talented guys behind me. He didn't know me, right? Mm-hmm. He invested in them, and he was just like, "You're not going to play." I was like, "My stats." Mm-hmm. And he was like, "I understand that, but I'm focusing on the future of the program." I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Now, at this point in time, bro, I got scouts. I had scouts coming to see me even in my junior year.
Yeah.
Right. And I got guys, my friends are in the league, and they're telling me, they're like, "Yo, I got scouts asking like, what's going on with Phil Hunt at UConn? Why isn't he playing?" No one had it. They didn't even give, when the scouts questioned the coach, they didn't even give him an explanation. Right, so everybody's kind of scratching their heads like, what's going on? Yeah, I still got run on special teams. I still got some burned up time. And when I got burned up time, I was balling. Right. But it was like, so fast forward now, and the season comes around. Okay. I still got some film. I get pro days. I'm testing out,
How I was about to say, how'd you do in those?
Man, I was 201 running a 4.41, dog.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
3.8% body fat. Mm-hmm. Benching 225. I think it was like 15, 17 times, something like that. Mm-hmm. So I'm feeling pretty good. What people don't know though, I was battling really bad tendonitis in my right knee that would flare up just randomly.
Okay.
But I was managing it. So, pro day, so draft comes and goes. I wound up getting an agent and everything. Get no phone calls that day. My agent calls me the day later. He goes, "Listen," he's like, "I got a call." He's like, "I got 2 teams that will invite you to camp, in the NFL." And he goes, "And I got 2 or 3 teams that want to sign you right now in Canada." Mm-hmm. What you want to do? And so, I'm disappointed, of course, because, set that dream, set that goal.
Right.
This is the first time I set my sights on something, and I'm probably not going to get it the way that I wanted to get it. Mm-hmm. Right. And, I think a week before that, my athletic director pulled me aside and said, "Look, man," he goes, I know you're pursuing this NFL thing." And he goes, "I think you should." He says, "I think you should do it." He says, "But if you change your mind, know that there's an opportunity for you to come back here, get your master's degree, and then work for me in athletics."
Yeah.
So now I'm talking to my agent. I'm like, okay, I can go to these camps. If I was 100% healthy, I probably would have went, but I wasn't.
That tendonitis.
It was flaring up real bad, man. And I was like, because once again, I got friends in the league. They're telling me how this is going to go, mm-hmm. right? They will look at you differently than looking at the guy that they just drafted. They're going to give that guy 10 chances where you may get one, mm-hmm. right? And I'm like, if I'm not 100%, do I go through this? Do I put myself through this if I'm not 100%? And then the Canadian thing.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, what about the Canada thing? Yeah.
Once again, my ego. I had a big ego back then, dog. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And my ego's like, "Yo, if I don't go NFL, I ain't going."
There you go. Yeah.
I didn't want to go to Canada. I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna go to Canada." I think back then, he was making 45, 50 G's.
And freezing.
Yeah. Right. And freezing. Yeah. I was like, I'm gonna go through all of that and beat my body up. Once again, my body's feeling pretty beat up already. Mm-hmm. I was like, to go make $45,000, $50,000. And I was just like, and once again, no offense to anybody who's ever done that, mm-hmm. right? But I had options. And that's one of the things I've always prided myself on, is having options. And so in my back pocket, I had that option to work in athletics, get my graduate degree for free, and put some money in my pocket and work for a top 25 athletic program at the time.
Right.
So that's what I did. And
now, what did you do in the athletic department?
After that?
What were you doing as far as work?
Yeah, so I was working in facilities and game operations. So I was in charge of putting on all the games, the tournaments. You know, so basketball tournaments, I was there. You know, my sports were, everybody did football and basketball, both men's and women's, but I also had like women's volleyball, field hockey, baseball, track and field. So I would help run events. And the cool thing about that was, and I mean, dude, I was working 55, 60-hour weeks sometimes, but I was young and had a bunch of energy, so it didn't really matter. But man, you know, you're helping run a Big East tournament. That's on CBS,
right?
Prime time. I'm sitting in the CBS and ESPN truck with the producers, hanging out, eating lunch. You know, they're showing me how things work on the back end of things. You know, they're coming to do, you know, they call me up to do, you know, this is when the 30 for 30s first came out.
Okay.
Right. And they're like, hey, you know, Phil, you know, can you let us into the building? We want to do a shoot. And so you're sitting back and you're getting to know these people.
Yeah.
Right? And seeing how all the magic happens. And it was great, man. It was just a wonderful experience. And from that experience, two gentlemen that I had met through my athletic director, I always noticed he was always walking around with these two guys in these really nice suits, nice shoes, great watches on. I'm like, who are these guys that he's hanging out with? And so I went and introduced myself to them, and they happened to both be attorneys.
Okay.
I was like, okay, like, but why are y'all with our athletic director? Well, one was a criminal defense attorney, which I don't need to explain that, right? we had some knuckleheads then too. But the other guy was he was a sports and higher ed attorney. And I was like, talk to me about that. And you know, he's like, listen, man, he's like, you know, the NCAA has all these rules and regulations, and the way that higher ed is going right now, it's more compliance-based and regulatory, higher ed and athletics. And he was like, you know, your athletic director is mindful of that. So he always wants to be in the know. So I'm thinking to myself as a young professional, like, damn, he's paying a lot of money to have these guys consult with him. What if I went to law school and brought that knowledge base in-house? How valuable would that be? And how valuable of a resource would I be? Right? And so that's what I did. I stayed on one more year after grad school and just worked and applied for law schools and wound up going to law school, man.
Okay.
And, you know, focusing on kind of sports law, some soft IP, trademarks, copyrights, contracts. And then after that, had an opportunity to go back to UConn to clerk. I was clerking there and come to be an assistant AG. So by my third year of law school, I had an opportunity to come back to UConn and be an assistant AG or work at the NCAA. Out in Indianapolis? Out in Indianapolis. And I wound up, well, it was interesting how it happened. So for the assistant AG, the guy who was going to be my boss at the time said, look, this job isn't going to start until like January, December. Because we got to get it through the state. He's like, it's not going to be a problem, blah, blah, blah. So we're like, okay. Then, so I'm thinking to myself, he's like, you're going to oversee some copyright stuff, and you're going to handle all the athletic stuff, coaches' contracts, NCAA compliance issues. He's like, since that's your jam, that's what you're going to do. And I'm like, bet. This is going to be phenomenal. Yeah. That gives me time to study for the bar. And then I'm thinking to myself, oh man, but I don't have a lot of NCAA experience, right? And so how am I gonna get that? So I remember that the NCAA had a paid postgraduate internship. So I was like, cool, I'll do that. while I study for the bar, come back, hit the ground running, and it's a wrap. I go out there and I interview for this post-grad internship. And I wound up walking out of there with 2 full-time job offers, man.
Yeah.
So I look back and I told you when we first started, I just feel blessed. And the opportunities that were given to me, I just feel blessed, man. I just feel blessed. So
now, out of those 2, which one you took?
I wound up going to the NCAA. I talked to my people at UConn, and they're like, listen, you can always come back here and work. They're like, the NCAA is the mecca of college athletics. You can write your ticket after that. And so I wound up not taking the bar because I didn't need to take the bar. And I would say 90% of the people who were in my division, they all had their JDs. They were all trained lawyers anyway. They just didn't practice in the traditional sense.
Okay.
So they were always in the rule book, interpreting rules, educating people on the rules. I would be going around the country auditing athletic programs at times. It was great.
Oh, you're the person people ran from when you showed up on campus.
Well, I wasn't enforcement. I wasn't, but for people who, they were trying to, we called it athletic certification. So you had to be certified. One of the rules was you had to be certified every 5 or 10 years or something.
Okay.
Like that. So I would go out on campuses and help them with that. Any campuses that were trying to be Division II or Division I members, new members, I would
the whole transition. Okay.
Help them make that transition too. So it was fun. I mean, it was a great job, man. It was a great job. Indianapolis, is a very cool city. Very cool city. The downtown area is walkable. The NCAA office is right on this beautiful canal walk. They got museums. They got art galleries. You got the Pacers. They got a minor league baseball team. They got the Colts. They were bringing the Big Ten basketball and football championships there. They had Indy 500, Brickyard 500. I mean, it was just
some things going on. Yeah. And what's crazy, you mentioned as far as the NCAA being out in Indianapolis, the National High School Federation's out there too.
They were right next door.
Yeah.
They were right next door. So it was you were in the mecca of, you felt like you were just in the mecca of sport. It was fun. It was a great experience with a lot of contacts out in that professional sphere. But the one thing that I did miss, as great as that was, I missed being on a college campus.
You did? Okay.
I missed being on a college campus. I missed that energy. I missed that interaction with the students. And so I made the decision to get back on campus and to kind of start to move away from athletics. I had some experiences at the NCAA focusing on the academic area, and I really enjoyed that. And so, because a lot of people that were in my division, they were going on to be like your day-to-day compliance people, and I didn't want to do that day-to-day.
Yeah.
No one likes you, right? They only come to you when they have problems, which is actually not that different from my job now. But, but I miss being on a college campus.
And it's a certain energy being on them. It's a certain energy.
Yeah. So I applied for this position that I saw at George Mason University. Minimum qualifications was a Juris Doctor.
Okay.
And it still had a tie-in to athletics. And it was all about higher ed regulations, and compliance, but just not the athletic stuff day to day, which I enjoyed.
And he was in a nice little area too down there.
Oh, DC, man.
Yeah, you couldn't go wrong.
I love DC, dude.
Yeah.
Loved it. It's where I met my wife, man. It's where I met my wife, and who would have thought that Jersey boy married some farm girl from Eastern Iowa.
Yeah, it's crazy how worlds come together, man. It's all good though. And so from there, y'all met down there, and then y'all went to San Diego from there, or?
Yeah, so I had been at George Mason for 8 years.
Okay.
She was in retail sales at the time, managing stores.
Okay.
And she was looking for a transition. There were some leadership changes at the university where I I was like, I think it's time for me to have a change too. At the time, I had my own consulting company where I would help college and high school student athletes who ran into NCAA eligibility issues.
Okay.
I would consult with them on how to navigate that. So I was doing that on the side. And I met this guy who ran these camps down in Texas. And he goes, man, you should really consider bringing that skill set down to the high school level. I was like, I don't know if I want to do that, dude. I was like, high school is a whole different animal.
Mm-hmm.
I really like
dealing with minors and
I was like, you're dealing with some egos of high school coaches too. You know how that goes sometimes. I was like, I don't know if I want to deal with that.
Yeah.
He's like, well, think about it. So now we have this opportunity. I'm like, well, maybe he's on to something. So I start doing some research, but I was very particular about the kind of school that I would go to. I wanted a school that had resources.
That's right.
I didn't want to have to get a teaching certification.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I wanted to be purely administration. If I wanted to coach, I would like to have the option, but I didn't want to be told I had to, right, to supplement my salary or anything like that. So I was like, if these people are serious about athletic administration, you won't need to have to do any of that. Right. So found this this private school in San Diego, up the street from University of San Diego. I mean, it cost $30-something thousand to send your kid there for high school, dog. It was insane. It was insane. Good experience. I was there for about 3 years, but again, I realized that higher ed is where it's at for me, man.
Okay.
So came back to that, focused in, we left there, went to Rapid City, went to from the ocean to the mountains. Rapid City was an interesting experience there. Beautiful place. The Black Hills are beautiful. Just a little different from a political standpoint. Mm-hmm. Yes. But if you do get a chance to go visit out there, it's worth it to see the sights. But we knew, that by the time our kid hit first grade, we needed to be gone because they just didn't invest a lot of money into
education. Yeah.
So we were trying to get to Iowa. That didn't happen, but a position came open at NDSU that a colleague had mentioned to me. And I didn't know much about Fargo other than they had a winning football program at NDSU. Mm-hmm. And I always wondered, like, man, how are they getting all these brothers there?
Yeah.
Right? And then you look on TV and it's a packed house. And so you say to yourself, well, they must be doing something right. If they're getting these brothers up here and they're winning.
They're winning, yeah.
And they keep coming back, right? So
folks getting drafted, everything, yeah.
So, we talked to our friends and our friends are like, you guys would actually love the Fargo community. We're like, for real? So, I applied to a position. My wife applied to a position. We came up as a family to interview. I got called up for the interview. As we were packing up the car, my wife got called for an interview. And, she interviewed before I did. She interviewed on Thursday. I interviewed on Friday. She came back to the hotel and I said, how'd it go? She goes, this was fantastic.
Yeah.
She looks dead in my face. She goes, don't F this up.
Yeah. I'm sure you heard that more than once since y'all been together. So that is nothing you ever heard before. So
yeah, and it's been great, man. Fargo's been really good to us. I recently got promoted to also be special assistant to the president. Mm-hmm. My wife's been, since then, she's been recruited away. She's now acting chief development officer at a healthcare foundation. Mm-hmm. Our kids are thriving here, man. So we're good. The winters are tough. Mm-hmm. But outside of that, man, this is a great place. This is a great place.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm glad you got some Wi-Fi.
I know, man. I got the mules. Out back.
Yeah. Some of your Jersey people, have they been out there to see you?
They have not been out here. They have not been out here yet. My brother was supposed to come, but he had some stuff come up. Personal things come up. But yeah, they'll come out. My parents, they've come out to see us when we're in South Dakota. They were there for that. But They're coming. My wife's family, they're from Iowa, so they've been out here a number of times. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing them and having them come out here. It should be a good time.
What's next for you as far as the position you in? You see yourself doing anything else down the road, or you gonna just pretty much just stay where you're at?
Frankly, I took this position. So initially I came to be the university registrar, and that means you basically oversee all the academic policy,
right,
registration and graduation and all the higher ed compliance stuff to make sure students move on to graduate, right? We had a new president come in. We had some financial issues. I shared some thoughts and ideas with him, and he was just basically like, I need you to help us get through this.
Okay.
I was like, all right, I'm down. One of the things that I had thought about before I took this position was, look, if I happen to just retire as a registrar, I'll be good with that. I was making good money, hours are good. I'm like, I would be fine with that. I was making a name for myself in the professional associations. But this opportunity came up. He and I have been talking about, my interest maybe one day in being a university president.
Okay.
I can't, maybe that's another aspiration.
Okay.
I'm sitting here learning more and more what it's about. There's times I'm like, oh yeah, this would be great. And there's other times I'm like, man, I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see what God has in store, man. Right now, I'm just trying to be the best dad I can, be the best husband I can, and then do some good work for our students,
Yeah, your little man. I say your little man. You see him even at an early age getting a little bug. As far as I'm sure, you probably try to have a football in the crib or something.
It's funny. A lot of people ask me, you want him to play football? You're gonna make him play football? I was like, first of all, I'm not gonna make my son do
right.
Other than be a good human being and work hard, right? But I also don't believe in having kids play like tackle football until their bodies are mature enough to handle that.
Makes sense.
Yes. So if they have like organized flag football or something, then maybe he can do that. But he walks around and he sees these. I got some other things on that wall over there, and he's like, "Dad, that's you." He's like, "I want to do that. I want to do that." He saw some of my track medals, and he got hyped up over that. But he's discovered soccer, because soccer's big.
Great sport,
right? And let me tell you, he's good at it. He's picked it up. He's tenacious. He's fast. Like his dad, he'll probably be more of a defensive guy.
Okay.
He loves stealing the ball from cats, and stopping them from scoring. Like he loves that kind of stuff. He loves scoring too, but soccer right now is his thing. And we started him in track this past summer, or past spring summer season. 5 years old, and entered him into this track meet. I thought it was just, a club meet.
Yeah.
It was the regional USA track and field. And so I talked to the coach. He's like, well, Phil, he's not going to be running against other 5-year-olds. He's going to be running against, I think it was like 8 and under kids. I was like, well, all right. I said, well, I just want to see him compete.
Yeah.
Regardless if he wins, I said, I don't really care about that. So I'm talking to him, and I said, PJ, I said, what events do you want to do? He's like, well, what are my options, Dad? I said, well, long jump. I said, that's where you jump in the sand. You remember that? He was like, yeah, I want to do that. I said, okay. I said, you got the 100 where they just run straight for a little bit. Yeah, I want to do that. I was like, the 400 where they do a full one around. He was like, no, I don't want to do that. I said, and then you got the 200 where you just run halfway. He goes, I think I can do that. I said, okay, cool. Why does this dude medal in like 3 of the 4?
Yeah.
His first time.
Yeah.
He gets his first medal. Like I told him, I said, bud, you get a medal. He went ballistic.
Yeah. That's all right.
And his first 100, he beat like 2 7-year-olds, dude. Came in second place.
And he's probably 9 too. He probably changed birth certificates.
And so
that's good stuff.
At the end of the season, he was ranked like one of the top 5 fastest 5-year-olds in the upper Midwest.
That's crazy.
So that's Nebraska, that's both Dakotas, that's Minnesota. You know, that's Iowa.
Yeah.
And I was like, let's just see what he wants to do. As long as he enjoys it, man. So we'll see.
See. I agree. No, totally, man. With the sports, like track, football, all this stuff, man, like what has it given you that sticks with you to this day?
Everything, man. You know, my wife makes fun of me. Flay and Pierre make fun of me. I still walk around with my immaculate ring on, dude. I wear that thing every day, every day.
Your hand not green?
No, man, I got the good gold, bro.
Oh, okay.
You know, because it's a constant reminder of where I came from, people who helped me along the way, and not to also not disappoint them.
Yeah.
Remember where I came from, what it took.
Reminder, yeah.
And all those who were, you know, pushing me to do more, and that came ahead of me, you know, cats like you, Coach Finn, Coach Taylor, Coach Mel, my boy Flay, Pierre, you know, all of those experiences, man, are kind of wrapped up in the symbol of that ring. And so I think about how education, right? Because that's what we're talking about.
Yes.
It was the opportunities afforded to me as I was getting my education.
Yeah.
And so it was hard work, determination, being a team player, right? Grit, you know, all of those things, leadership skills. Like I found myself in leadership positions. Like I wasn't trying to be a captain,
right,
at Immaculate. I wasn't even trying to be a captain at UConn like that. But what the coaches saw was, here's a kid who's working hard, who's dedicated, who's having fun, and cares about his teammates.
Yeah.
And guys just started to kind of rally around me with that. And so I embraced it, you know, and I embraced it in athletics. And now I embrace it in my professional life.
Yeah.
You know, where I'm not afraid to speak up. I'm not afraid to lead. I'm not afraid to step up and do things.
Yeah.
You know, so you talk about what athletics has done, man. Athletics has done a lot for me. So I always would encourage kids, regardless, it doesn't matter what the sport is.
Yeah.
Right? Find something that you love and that you can dedicate yourself to. And even if it's not sports, in this life, find something in this life that you can dedicate yourself to and that brings you joy.
Joy brings you joy. Yeah.
Because this life is short, man.
Couldn't agree more.
You know, here we are, both of us up in here, man, with gray hairs. And
yeah, man, you know,
when we were hanging out in the gym.
Yeah, I'm sitting here looking at you like, remember you had a flat top.
I showed my wife those pictures, man, and she cracks up.
Yeah. yeah. Definitely flat top. The horse collar.
The horse collar, yeah. My cousin used to make fun of me, man. He's like, man, get rid of that damn thing. Yeah, that was like freshman.
Yeah, it's funny. That's funny. Yeah. Let me put you on the spot a little bit, man. It's random, not so random questions here. Have some fun on the back end here if you go with that.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm gonna take you back over, swing you over to the East Coast a little bit.
All right, let's do it.
So when in Jersey, you prefer the Parkway or the Turnpike?
Parkway.
Great Adventures or Action Park?
Ooh. I was big on Action Park, dude. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Did you ever see the documentary on that? I don't know.
I have not. I watched some highlights of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we used to love doing all that though.
Yeah.
We didn't know it was dangerous.
Yeah, you get a second, you get a second, you get a kick out of it. But yeah, nah, definitely. Action Park was a great time.
Yeah.
It was a great time. But I know you never went out really, but every now and then you might have went out. So club or block party?
Ooh. You know, I really back then, man. I would probably say the club, man. I remember sneaking into. All right, I'm gonna take you back. The Peppermint
I'm
Lounge.
about to say you right around the corner.
I remember sneaking into the Peppermint Lounge a couple times, man.
Yeah, he's only around the corner. Absolutely.
Yep. Yep.
Speaking of that neck of the woods, Orange Park or Central Playground?
Ooh, man. I gotta go with Orange Park, man. I gotta go with Orange Park.
Okay. All right. White Castles or sandwiches?
Like sandwiches unlimited?
Yes.
Oh, I'm going to sandwiches unlimited all day.
What you getting?
Ooh, I was pretty traditional, man. I'm probably doing turkey, putting some bacon on it, putting the oil, vinegar, oregano, salt and pepper, and spicy mustard. Make it happen.
Cool. Immaculate or Yukon?
For what?
Whatever you want it to be.
Damn, man, that's tough, bro. That's a tough call, man. I gotta go with Immaculate, man, because without Immaculate, I don't think there's a Yukon, dude. I'm gonna put it in that linear path. That, I firmly believe everything happens for a reason, right? And life is about choices. The choices that I made at Immaculate brought that opportunity in front of me.
Yeah.
So who knows where my life would have gone? Who knows? Yeah. So the right people came into my life at the right time, man. Showed me the right things, and that gave me the opportunity that presented itself at UConn, and then UConn created a whole nother series of life events that put me on the path that I'm on now. So I don't ever second guess myself, because and this started back at Immaculate, man, when I made that decision of what I wanted to do. It was like, if you give it 100%, man, and you give it your all, you'll never look back and have any regrets. Yes. And even though I didn't win that championship with Gil and them, I don't have any regrets about my high school career, either athletically or academically there. And the same about UConn. Granted, I didn't make it to the league, but the experiences that UConn afforded me at a very young age that led me to where I'm at now, how could I even second guess any of that? Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely. Speaking of Immaculate, the balcony or the bench?
The balcony.
Yeah.
The balcony. Yeah. Without no doubt.
Well, what's Coach Finn meant to you?
Man, I put Coach Finn on blast when I got inducted into the Immaculate Hall of Fame. But him and Mr. Dyer, man. Him and Mr. Dyer, they were instrumental to my life. And I remember, and I don't know that a lot of people know this, but this goes back to one track season. I had missed a practice because I had to babysit my brother. Like, my mom couldn't get a babysitter, right? And I was like, Coach, I'm gonna miss practice. And I told him ahead of time. And for whatever reason, that day in practice, he was riding me, man. He was riding me. And I was like, yo, why are you on me? Like, well, I'm just gonna make sure that you're dedicated. And I was like, dedicated? He's like, well, you missed practice. I was like, oh, hold on. And I snapped. Yeah. I snapped. And, I was like, dude, I kind of laid into him. I'm one of the best athletes you got coming back here next year. And, I was like, I got other schools right now who want me to transfer to their programs. And I don't know why you're riding me. I stay out of trouble. I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do, blah, blah, blah. And he and I just went at it. And he's like in my ear in the locker room. I remember you remember the rack of lockers?
Yes.
I was so mad if I took a rack of lockers off the wall, dude. It was bad. It was bad. But after that, he and I had a sit down talk, man. And, he just let me know that, he rides me because he pushes me, he cares for me, he's trying to bring out the best of me. And we had a different relationship from that point on. And same thing with Mr. Dyer. They sat me down and they understood who I was at the time, and saw the potential in me, and challenged me in positive ways to do more and be more. And I'm grateful for that.
Yeah. Nah, good stuff, man. Good stuff. At any of the levels you played on, best game you ever played in your life?
Oof. I would probably say it was my that's a tough one, man. I'd probably say it's probably William and Mary, my junior year. They had a running back by the name of Alvin Porcher. He was being scouted. I think he went to the league somewhere. Dude was like a Barry Sanders type dude, man.
Okay.
Just compact, quick, shifty, and you would lose him sometimes behind the line. What did I have that game? I had, I think I was like second in tackles that game behind one of our linebackers. I think I had like 15, 16 tackles that game and an interception. What the stats don't show you is that I probably missed that dude 7 more times.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, that was fun. Then what was another one? Yeah, I would say that's probably the best one. The Hofstra game is up there too, because that's when they had Gino Carmazzi.
Okay.
We wound up going to the 49ers. I wound up picking him off last minute for the win.
Okay. Yeah.
So that was kind of nice. That was kind of nice. But yeah, man, great experience all around, dude.
Best team you ever been on?
Man, I'm gonna have to go with my UConn squad, man. That 98 team, dog. We had it, man. We had there's a brotherhood from that squad. And being with those guys from freshman year all the way there and realizing that dream coming together. I mean, I'm going up to UConn. I fly up there tomorrow. I'm gonna go see a lot of those guys. We got group texts going on. We playing fantasy football together. We're going to see their kids play games. We're going to weddings. These are my brothers, man.
That's great.
This is our family. So yeah, there's a bond there that will never be broken. So
is a game you like to have back?
Ooh, a game I like to have back. I would say, even though we won that game, I mean, we blew them out. But a game that I would love to have back would be was that my senior year or my junior year? I can't remember. It might have been my senior year. We opened up against University of Buffalo. They wound up having a star quarterback who went to the league. I can't remember his name. We had some injuries going into that game, so they moved me from safety to corner. Okay. And by the way, I loved playing corner.
You did? Oh, yeah.
So all the guys on the sideline, on the Buffalo sideline, they in my ear, talking smack, chirping. Dude runs a route. It was like he ran probably, I think it was like a 12-yard curl route. I jumped it, Ib. And all I saw was
6. Yeah.
So what I do, I took my eyes off the ball, dog, and I dropped it. That was the first play of the game. I could have had a pick 6 first play of the game, man. First play of the game, dude. Yeah. No.
Did y'all win? Did y'all win that game?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Because I mean, that set the tone at that point. They were real quiet. Yeah, because so that was my junior year. I want to say my junior year, I had like 60-something tackles, 3 fumble recoveries, and did I have 3 or 4 interceptions? I can't remember, but I probably dropped another 4.
Yeah.
Had I had them, I would have been at the top of of college football on interceptions that year.
Right? Yeah.
So you talk about there's a couple Ed that I
There's a couple. Yeah.
There's a couple, but it's all good stuff, man.
I know even at Immaculate, you was you've been in from some time, including grammar school, so you got to probably see some athletes through there. But I'll keep it football as far as your top 5 as far as any era, as far as Immaculate, as far as football players.
You know, man, I'm always gonna have you at the top of that list, dude. It's not no. Seriously. I would tell people, look, you don't know this. I might have to call some people to verify this for you. But I remember when Michael Vick got hot. And I remember being at the sports bars with one of my boys. I was like, yo, there was a cat at my high school. He was Michael Vick before there was a Michael Vick. Dog.
Nah, man.
Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, dude. Come on, man.
That's cool, man.
You were that cat for me, dog. I mean, you could throw the ball, you could run the rock, you were hard nosed, you played defense, man. You're just an athlete, dude. So I looked up to you, man. Looked up to you. So I'd say you for sure. Who else is up there? Clearly, man, I can't take anything away from what my boys did, man. You know, Gil had a lot of accolades, man. Had a lot of accolades.
They were special, man. They were special.
Troy had a lot of accolades.
Special too, yeah.
And I would say, you know, there were who else before that? Rich Kana, right? You can never.
Of course.
You know, I mean, that dude, he was a beast, man. So those are some of the names that
it's a lot of
guys, man.
It's a lot of people, man. What in regards somebody who should have made it. I mean, I know whether from your era, whether it's at Immaculate or outside of Immaculate, round away, whatever. Somebody who, however you define made it too. However you define the word made it.
Man, somebody who should have made it, man. You know, I say this, man. I'm gonna take this to my family. My Uncle Joe, man. My Uncle Joe, Joe Crocker. He played at West Side.
Okay.
He was all-state, all-American tackle, man.
Mm-hmm.
Had a full ride on the line to at the U when the U was the U. You know, wound up unfortunately messing around with grades, man, and they pulled it. So that was really hard on him, you know. Yeah. And hard on the family, but you know, because that's one of those things where you're like, damn, you never know what could have happened. Because the U, they was recruiting families, right?
That's right.
That's right. Families, man. Shoot, we could have all been down there. But great athlete, man, you know, tenacious guy.
Yeah.
But things didn't work out. And that was real close to home, man. That was real But love him. You know, throw some prayers up for him. He's having a tough time right now with his health.
Nah, definitely, man. Positive energy, definitely, man. What's best part about being Phil Hunt?
Oh man. You know, I would just say, man, I always try to. I'm a glass half full kind of guy, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I always try to see the joy in life, no matter what.
Yes.
You know, and my philosophy is like as long as the sun's coming up, there's always a chance to do something better. Mm-hmm. There's always a chance for greatness, and another opportunity. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I wholeheartedly believe life's about choices, man.
Yes.
You know? Yes. And you have more control over your life than you probably think that you do. Yeah, there's some things that influence it and impact it, but you know, you have more control than you're led to believe sometimes.
Nah, you're absolutely right, man. Best part about being a father.
getting hugs and kisses from those kids, man, coming home and you just see their faces light up, you know, and hearing them call daddy.
Yeah.
And look to you for comfort, look to you for strength, you know, look up to you to learn, you know, about life. You know, my son, you know, he and I, we're nerds, man. We're nerds. We love to learn. And, you know, I got this this astronomy app on my phone. And then I got a little telescope my wife got me last year set up in the house. And so that's something that he and I do together. I take out the app. Like even tonight, he's like, Dad, can I see your phone? I want to see what planet that is over there, you know? So
yeah,
that's great. And my little girl, as she gets older, you know, I come home, you know, she recognizes Dad and she's all smiles, man. So
oh, she working you early, so that's what that's about. Trust me, I know all about it. That she working you early.
Yeah, she is, man. She is. But I love it. I love it.
Yeah. And I know you're gonna have a whole lot more of these here, but at least up to this point here, what's 3 of the best moments of your life so far?
I would say my wife, definitely, man. Meeting my wife, you know, she's been a tremendous influence on my life, and without her, man, you know, she pushed me in positive directions. Even there were times where, you know, I wasn't always my best self, right? She would bring the best back out in me, and you know, 2 beautiful kids. We got a great life together. Focused. Say that. I would say, you know, earning that scholarship, man.
Yeah.
Earning that scholarship. And then I would say after that, earning that law degree, dog. Earning that law degree meant a lot because at that point in time in my life, I felt like I competed physically at a high level, and I pushed myself and challenged myself physically at a high level. And I felt like, well, once again, I was a good student in college, in undergrad, better student in grad school. You know, I almost went to law school as a dare and a challenge to myself of whether or not I could. You know, and I did it.
That's right.
You know, and not only did I do it, I came back and got my LLM, which is a specialization in law that you can only get after you get your JD. And so I'm sitting around here now with 4 degrees, you know, little knucklehead, snot-nosed kid from Orange, New Jersey.
Yes.
The product of 2 16-year-old knuckleheads who had a baby young. You know, all the odds and stats were against them. And here we are.
Here we are.
Right. So for any of these young cats that are watching, even some of the old heads that might be watching, who's you know, going through some things, understand this. I said life's about choices, but it's not about where you start. It's about where you finish.
Yes. Nah. Couldn't have said it better here. Speaking of that, you read a lot of books, a lot of stuff you had to do as far as getting those degrees here. But
yeah, man.
But a book on your life, what would you call it?
Ooh, I'm thinking about that, man. I might be writing something. The best title that I have right now is Push.
Push. Okay. Is that an acronym or you just straight push? Just push.
Straight pushing.
Okay.
Always pushing, always going.
Yeah.
No matter what. Push.
Yeah. So this mid-40s Phil here, like, think about it. Well, what advice would you give that 17, 18-year-old Phil, senior, trying to, don't know, you was focused, but still, what advice would you give that 17, 18-year-old Phil?
You know, I would tell him to, you know, being focused, you know, that helped me out a lot, but enjoy the moment.
Enjoy it. Yeah.
I think there were some things, you know, sometimes where I was always looking to the next thing, right? Where I didn't always, you know, enjoy and be in the moment right then and there with some of y'all, you know. And that time went by so fast.
Yes.
You know? So, so that's what I would say is, that time goes by fast, stay focused, but also be in the moment.
Yeah.
Be in the moment.
Be in the moment. And my last one here, what would your parents say about you, man?
Oh man, I don't know, man. I mean, the one thing I know about my parents, man, they've given a lot. My dad, like I said, they split, but my dad and I, we didn't really have a relationship until, my senior year in college, and that's because he realized that I might not be in Jersey for very much longer. And then we got closer as I became more of an adult.
Okay.
And he tells me every day how proud of me he is. I mean, here, 45 years old, the man tells me that every day when I talk to him. And my mom, she gave a lot. Sometimes she could be a pain, but you know how moms go. Sometimes she loves me. She sacrificed for me.
Yes.
I just hope at the end of the day, man, that I made them proud, and that I didn't disappoint. And the sacrifices that they made, they feel like it was all worthwhile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, that's sorry. And speaking of proud, I couldn't be more proud of you, man. Obviously, a couple of years gap between you and I here, but just to, hear stuff I didn't even know about as far as regarding you here, but just to see like whether it was on the field, that was great. Everything else here, obviously achieving those goals that you set out to achieve, man. But just the person you are, I mean, like you and I both know, percentages and the numbers are stacked against us, and we could all went a different route, as far as that goes here. And you didn't let the elements, anything deter you from what you was trying to do and what you continue to do here, Phil. So I couldn't say how proud I am of you, man. And just thank you for the opportunity, not only for this, but just for me, just have an opportunity to watch you grow up. We watch each other grow up, even from a distance. We don't have to talk. We don't have to talk or see each other. I mean, obviously with technology, you realize some things here, but even outside of that, do the grapevine or whatever words you want to use. We seen each other come up here, man, and I couldn't be more proud. Couldn't be more proud of you, man. So thank you for the man that you are. And them kids is very lucky to have you as a father, and your wife, even though you probably do mess up and do some things you ain't supposed to do in the house and follow the rules or what have you. She couldn't be more proud to have you as a husband, man. So enjoy the family life, and like you said, those time flies, man. Look at us, man. We was running around with uniforms on and tight as navy blue blazers. You know what I mean? So look at us now, man. So appreciate it, man. I appreciate this. Thank you for taking time out. Thank you.
Hey, man, I appreciate you reaching out, man.
Phil, appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Appreciate you, and I appreciate you doing this, man. I love seeing you on here. I love you bringing the athletes together, man.
It's a blast, man. It's been a blast. Yes,
it's a good thing. So thank you for doing this with everybody. It's awesome.
Nah, no doubt, Phil. We'll talk.
All right, man.
All right, no doubt. Peace, man.
Yeah.
Great stuff. Great stuff. Damn, how proud I am of him as far as Phil. Just everything he's done, continues to do, man. Just stand-up guy, man. I wouldn't expect anything less, to be honest. With that said, I'm just going to step away. I put my hand over my heart. That means I feel you. Yep.